Hi guys, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Now before I begin, be sure to click subscribe and turn on the notification bell. In the 1830s, America was on the move. Fanning out west, farmers and homesteaders were eager to make use of the famously fertile soil held under the prairie's vast seas of grass. But the grasses of the Great Plains would not yield so easily to the iron plow. Their thick, tough roots, so integral to the fertile ecosystem, held firm, requiring hours of back-breaking work to dislodge. But then, one day, a steel saw blade broke in an Illinois mill, catching the eye of a visiting blacksmith. John Deere took that steel saw blade home and used it to create an invention that would ultimately industrialize farming, grow the American breadbasket, and create the Dust Bowl. But more on that later. For in today's video, we are going to discuss one descendant of John Deere's steel plow, the disc. So here are the top things you need to know about disking a field. Number 1. A disc harrow is an agricultural implement that is used to till the soil where crops will be planted. It can also be used to chop up any unwanted weeds or crop remainders. Number 2. Disking a field includes disturbing and exposing the soil. It is often the preferred farm measure to manage residue from the previous crop cycle, like soybean or corn stalks. This method chops and incorporates the crop residue into the soil, which promotes rapid decay of plant material. Number 3. Disking is done to just work the surface, usually of a depth of up to about 10 inches. This is slightly different from plowing, which completely turns the soil over and buries all of the residue. Plowing thus works deeper layers of the soil and can contribute to greater erosion. Number 4. There are a number of advantages to disking a field. Disking closes the furrow made after plowing, which helps to preserve some of the soil's benefits. It also breaks down large chunks of compacted soil to make it easier to plant new crops. One of its major benefits is to remove weeds. Disking will kill a layer of weed growth, then provoke new weed growth by overturning the soil and bringing up the weed seeds. And when these weeds germinate, you can then pass through again and destroy the newly emerged ones. Disking also mixes the soil and puts crop residue back into the soil. Number 5. Disking does have a number of benefits, and this is why it is used, but it also has a number of negative impacts. Primarily, disking, like any kind of tilling, disturbs the structure of the soil, and over time this can have impacts on its fertility. Additionally, if you are incorporating herbicides, when you disc the weeds that contain the herbicides, they can become part of the crop residue that then is incorporated into your soil and potentially into your crops. Disking, when done too often or improperly, can compact the soil and affect root growth. And as I mentioned earlier, because it disturbs the soil structure, it reduces soil fertility and can ultimately impact crop yield. Because it is fracturing the soil, it helps to accelerate surface runoff and can contribute to soil erosion. And this brings us back to John Deere's invention. From that broken steel saw blade, Deere made a plow which could shear through the thick prairie soil. But John Deere's genius wasn't in the invention of the steel plow itself. Rather, he was able to mass produce it. Deere created a company that brought his plow to the thousands of farmers toiling away on the Great Plains. And so armed, the settlers plowed up the prairie, turning the thick soil into fields of grain. Yet over time, all of that plowing was causing irrevocable harm to the soil, breaking up those thick prairie roots that held it all in place, and leading to the ecological crisis that was the Dust Bowl of the 1930s. Since this event, there has been much debate about how much tilling, if any, is appropriate. There are many farmers who now advocate for no-till farming as a way to protect the soil, while others, specifically organic producers, argue that no-till results in greater herbicide use. These farmers argue that the use of cover crops and manure more than offset the losses in soil health from tillage. But it does seem to be true, reducing both herbicide use and tillage can result in large drops in yields, as Scott Park found when he experimented with cutting down tillage. Each farm is a unique ecosystem, and no-till farming is about finding the right natural balance that adequately mimics the natural ecosystem in the area. Restoring soil health is a long-term commitment, but the hard work is worth it to many, especially if it means future generations can continue to take advantage of our nation's wonderfully rich soil. And fortunately, there are many farmers who are using the same spirit of ingenuity which created the steel plow to solve the problem of over-tillage. Now, do you have any thoughts on till or no-till farming? Let us know in the comments. Did you like this video? You're going to love our Gokce Land Due Diligence program. We'll make you a land due diligence expert in just 7 days. Check it out at gokcecapital.com/glad. And while you're at our website, don't forget to explore our $1 down listings at gokcecapital.com/listings. Finally, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text, and we will respond as soon as possible. So thank you for listening, and more to come.